Hello, everyone. I hope you're all having an amazing day today. My name is Nicholas Davis, and today I plan to give a presentation on the National Museum of African American History and Culture. This presentation is for my Intro to Communications 101 course, Capstone Project number 2, the Informative Speech. This speech will describe three prominent aspects of the National Museum of African American History and Culture. First off, why the museum was created, the architecture of the museum, and what can be found in the museum. Now, before we begin, here's some fun facts from the actual National Museum of African American History and Culture from the Smithsonian Group. The museum was created in 2003 in Washington, D.C., and is a portion of this group. According to the museum, it actually took over a decade to begin the work since we began in 2003, and to create all the material that is inside the museum, it took over 100 years. It began in 1915 with military war veterans. Now to touch on some of the architecture, the main architect behind this beautiful structure was David Ajayi and the Ajayi Group. There are different panels. That the panel description essentially is built to commemorate African culture. And finally, what can be found in the museum? There are 7 levels, each with their own distinct interest and flavor. Now on to why the museum was created. The museum was created to bring awareness and understanding to African American history and culture, to give thanks to the culture, to honor American history. And according to the National Museum of African American History and Culture, it was established by an act of Congress in 2003, following decades of effort to promote and highlight the contribution of African Americans. Now we will continue on with why the museum was created. The museum emphasizes that there are 4 pillars pertinent to its development. It provides an opportunity for those to explore history through interactive exhibitions. It helps Americans to see how their histories and cultures are shaped by global influences. It explores how Americans' values like resiliency, optimism, and spirituality are reflected in African American history and culture, and it serves as a place of collaboration to work with the myriad of museums and educational institutions. The beautiful part about the African American Museum is that it's not only about African American history, but it's about American history. Because America is the world's largest melting pot, all of us are involved in the development of this beautiful country, and this museum is allowed to have the emphasis of just showing how African Americans have been influential in the development of this nation. Now we're going to dive onto why and what the architecture of the museum is. The location is in Washington, D.C. More than half of the actual museum is below ground, according to the Ajayi Associates. There's 5 stories above. It is wrapped in an ornamental bronze-coated aluminum lattice, symbolic of African American craftsmanship, that can actually rotate, similar to the National Monument was the goal. It's at 17 degrees. And based upon the amount of light that the museum would allow to have in, they can rotate the structure. Inside, there's plenty of space to roam and gaze, which is, according to the Ajayi Associates, one of the main goals in the development of this museum. And according to an article about Morby 2018, the 2017 Beasley Design of the Year award was given to this museum. Now we will transition out to what can be found inside of this museum. The museum itself has 7 floors in total, as touched upon earlier. L4, if we're going to work from the top to the bottom. L4 is the cultural galleries. There is music and visual art on the top. Then there is level 3, the community galleries, which has sports and military memorabilia. Level 2 explores more interactive galleries such as media arts, or they have these essentially large prompters where one can actually dance and interact with what's happening, similar to the Wii Sports. And level 1 is the Heritage Hall, which is the entrance level. Now we'll continue to touch on what can be found in the museum in the next slide. So there's the Concourse 4, which has the entrance to the history galleries. Concourse 1 is a Changing America, which goes from 1968 and beyond, and it goes over the events and the reflections of the Smithsonian. Concourse Level 2, according to the Smithsonian, is the Defining Freedom, the Era of Segregation, 1876 to 1968, and it has events like the Civil Rights Movement. And Concourse 3, of Slavery and Freedom to 1877, talks about the power of cotton and the working of slavery. And now we'll transition to my final slide, the conclusion. In conclusion, the National Museum of African American History and Culture was created to commemorate not only African American history, but American history and culture. The architecture is well thought out, with plenty to explore. There's multiple levels, multiple interactive spaces, and just even looking at the outside, understanding how it was involved in African American history and how everything was put in place for a particular reason, just adds to the grandeur of this museum. And finally, in this museum, each level has its own meaning for history and memorabilia. I hope everyone was able to learn something from today's descriptive and informative speech. And that will be my concluding slide. We will now transition to my works cited. I hope you all enjoy your day. Goodbye.